There was a man who had worked all his life, had saved all of his money, but was very stingy. Just before he died, he said to his wife, "When I die, I want you to take all my money and put it in the casket with me. I want to take my money to the afterlife with me." And so he got his wife to promise. Well, he died. He was stretched out in the casket. His wife was sitting there, dressed in black, and her friend was sitting next to her. When they finished the ceremony, and just before the undertakers got ready to close the casket, the wife said, "Wait just a moment." She had a small metal box with her. She came over with the box and put it in the casket. Then the undertakers locked the casket down and they rolled it away. Her friend said, "My friend, I know you were not foolish enough to put all that money in there with your husband." The loyal wife replied, "Listen, I am a Catholic. I cannot go back on my word. I promised him that I was going to put that money into the casket with him. You mean to tell me you put that money in the casket with him?" "I sure did," said the wife. "I got it all together, put it into my account, and wrote him a check. If he can cash it, then he can spend it." My brothers and sisters, it's not what we say, but what we do that pleases God. And if we are honest with ourselves, we even recognize in our own lives this same tendency. We call ourselves practicing Catholics, and yet we spend more time working on our favorite hobbies than on our prayer life. And we spend more time becoming an expert in our profession than in our faith. And we tolerate in our own lives hidden habits of selfishness while we criticize other people for their more visible faults. If we think about it a little bit, we see very clearly that this contradiction between what we believe and how we live is not a good thing. It is like the second son in today's parable. He impressed his dad with fancy words and a good show of healthy obedience. But underneath the surface, he was still living for his own self-centered gratification, not for the greater good of his mission in the Father's kingdom. When we fall into that contradiction, it is no wonder that we don't grow in our experience of Christ's love and grace. And it is why are the chief priests and elders unable to see this truth? This is an important question for each and every one of us. God has given us so many gifts, and it is our responsibility to share them and give them away. We describe God as being omnipotent, but he is more all-giving. In the second reading today, we heard the line, Jesus emptied himself, is a rich word. It means to give yourself away. When you give, or when we give ourselves away, we find that we are going to have everything we need by the very grace of God. This honest look at our tendency to be like the second son in today's parable can make us feel discouraged. If God can raise Jesus from the dead, he can change our selfishness, sinful ways. He will pour his healing mercy into our souls if we open them up to receive it by going to confession. He will enlighten our confusion with his wisdom if we try to spend little time each day reading our Bibles and little time in prayer. Today, that wonderful man, Jesus Christ, is inviting us to renew our hope in the power of his grace. There is a beautiful sentence in the letter to St. Philippians, chapter 4, verse 13. I can do all things through him who strengthens me. So let us have this in our heart and mind. Be convinced of this wonderful promise of Jesus, and nothing is impossible with him. So today we ask for that grace, and let us try to share ourselves with our family members, with our friends, or with our wider parish community.